Okay, so today I have helped several people with this argument, so I just thought I would share Caleb's. So, first of all, for your evidence cards, I gave you a list of different sources that you could use that could help you. You can also just Google your topics and then find what comes up. Um, at the end, we'll decide we should probably have about 50% of your cards or 5 evidence cards that are ethos, 3 that are pathos, and 2 that are logos. Um, we will also at the end figure out if this is a claim, a warrant, or an impact. The claim is like your main point of your argument. The warrant answers why the claim is true, and the impact is why it matters. So I think of like a car crash, the impact of a car crash, why it is true. And this is how you're graded. Each evidence card is 10 content points, 10 evidence cards times 10 content points is 100 content points. And then there are also other points too. Day 1 cards, you need 3 cards. Day 2 cards, you need 3 cards. Day 3 cards, you need 4 cards. So this argument is pro-life, and I was helping 3 or 4 students on this argument today. So the way that I do my evidence cards is first I just come up with my arguments. I think, like, I'm at a barbecue, somebody says to me, "There's nothing wrong with abortion." What would I say? And so here are some things that my students and I have come up with today. The people who are pro-life believe that life begins at conception. Um, they also say that there are many birth control options with easy availability, like school counselors clinics. They're not expensive to buy them at the store. So abortion should not be considered a birth control option. Margaret Sanger was an abortion advocate. I believe she started Planned Parenthood. We want to find out what was her goal. Abortion clinics are much more prevalent in poor neighborhoods than wealthier neighborhoods. So let's look at that, research that. Jane Roe in Roe versus Wade, that was the Supreme Court decision that made abortion legal in the United States. Jane Roe, her real name was Norma McCorvey. She was pregnant as a teen, wanted to have an abortion. By the time the Supreme Court decision was made, she had already had her child. I believe she put it up for adoption. She spent many years trying to overturn that Roe versus Wade decision. Doctors take a Hippocratic oath, and this oath promises not to harm their patients, yet some perform abortions. So those who are pro choice and pro life believe that they are harming the baby. Number 7, when a criminal murders a pregnant woman, the criminal is charged with a double homicide. And here are 3 examples. There is something called the heartbeat bill or the heartbeat law. When a baby's heart begins to beat, then in those states, the abortion is no longer legal. Usually that is about 6 weeks gestation. And a lot of times that's when expectant mothers first find out they are pregnant. People who are pro-life believe that location does not determine life. So the location of the baby, whether it's the belly or the crib, does not determine whether the baby is alive or not. The people who say my body, my choice, their argument doesn't hold up when the baby's body is not the same body as the mother's body. And abortion was legalized before 3D and 4D images. We cannot fool ourselves into believing that a baby is not really a baby. Abortion was legalized before the science and technology that we now have. Now, the reason why I'm showing this to you as an example is because I've worked on this with 3 or 4 students today. I could do the same for pro-choice. So what you do is you have 5 pages of evidence. So each one of these is 2 evidence cards, and you take your argument and you put it right here. So life begins at conception. And then you could just Google that, or you could go to All Sides, but you find a quote that backs that up, not from Pinterest, not from Brainy Quotes, but an actual article. this first one will be the same every time. The resolution will be the same every time. This argument says that there are many birth control options. So we're going to take those arguments and put them each into a card. Margaret Sanger, abortion clinics are in poor neighborhoods. And then once you have your arguments, then you can go and do your research, and it makes it pretty easy to do. So day 1 needs 3 cards. Day 2 needs 3 cards. Day 4 needs 4 cards, and it's content points plus the regular. So if you didn't do it, it's pulling your grade down and it needs to get done. It was due last week. We are supposed to be on benchmark 3 today, and we're actually still on benchmark 1, so we've got to get it done. Okay, thank you.